Hi everyone. Welcome to another Meet the Expert webinar. Tonight I'm going to be talking with Angelique. Angelique works for a company called Kiddo School. Kiddo School is an international nursery chain spanning across many countries and has recently, 4 years ago, came to UK. And I hope they open up about 10 nursery and planning to open up some more. So I'm so looking forward, Angelique, to find out about your journey. Hi. And how are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. Long time. How are you?
I'm good. So I want to find out where it all started. How did you get into childcare?
It's a long story. So the reason why I got into childcare is actually a sad story. When I was younger, I've always wanted to do childcare and stuff. And then I did my level 3 in college. And then just before I went to university, my brother passed away. And that book, it was with knife crime. So that's actually what got me into youth work. And I already did childcare in college, but I was actually meant to go to university to do sociology and psychology. I was going to completely move away from it. And then I decided to stay in it because I was like, we need to do more. I initially wanted to go into youth work, but then I found that the gap to me was actually early years and not youth work. If we set the right foundation for the children, they hopefully have that better upbringing. So that's the reason why I got into childcare, and that's the reason why I continue to stay within the childcare industry.
Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, but yeah, it's so was your brother younger than you, or?
He was 1 year younger than me, so we were like
So you
really
were
close
very
in age.
close.
Yeah, very close in
Like a
age.
twin. Yeah.
Basically, we used to lie and tell people we were twins. So yeah.
Okay. So what did you study?
So in college, I did my level 3 in childcare, straight from secondary school to college. And then I took a year gap. And then after that, I went straight into college. I was university. I was supposed to do the other course, but I changed it to childhood and youth studies.
Okay, cool. And when did you start working in a nursery?
I actually started working in a nursery once I left college for my first year because I took a year gap. I was a preschool nursery practitioner full time.
And you quickly went into management, didn't you?
Yeah, so once I graduated, I went into preschool room leader role for about another year. And then I went into deputy manager role for a few months and then jumped straight into nursery manager because the manager that was there when I was deputy was only there for a few months before she left. And then I'm guessing that strong that I went straight into management. So I was quite lucky in that sense, but it also grew me up really quickly as well because I was only like 24 at the time.
Wow. So and you were in charge. How big was the nursery?
That nursery was actually, I think it was an 89 place nursery. It was really big. The preschool took 36, the toddler room took 36 children.
Wow.
Yes,
so how, as a 23-year-old, you were managing people, but also dealing with the parents, right? That's sometimes even more difficult.
Dealing with the parents, dealing with invoices, managing people, filling up occupancy because the occupancy was quite low and it was actually a loss-making setting. So I had to teach myself branding, marketing, and putting marketing plans together, sending the staff out to go and hand out leaflets, going myself, setting up community partnerships. So I set up partnerships with the Moorfield Eye Hospital. I set up partnerships with different companies because we were based in, the nursery was in like around Old Street. So it was literally like quickly just thinking on my feet. I had to teach myself this. I'll spend my weekends watching YouTube videos so that I can learn more about how to best market my nursery because I wanted it to succeed. When I left there, it had almost 100% occupancy and was no longer a loss-making nursery. And my colleague, they do like an annual colleague questionnaire where they rate the manager gold, bronze, whatever, and I got platinum.
Oh, wow. Well done. And what happened after that?
So after that, I left to start my own consultancy. And that's around the time I met you because I was looking for part-time work while I was starting out.
Yeah.
I ended up heavily advertising and marketing myself based on what I taught myself when I was at co-op, marketing myself on LinkedIn, and ended up getting a role in China where I was opening up international schools, and I was also going to be principal of an international kindergarten and developing curriculum. So I started my business in January and moved to China in October. That's how quick it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So and yeah, I really want to find out more. I'm really excited to hear about why did you decide to go to China?
So I felt like
Did
it
you
was
know much about China before you went there?
no, I didn't know nothing about China, but I genuinely just felt like it would be an amazing opportunity to grow. I was new to being like a business owner as well, just starting out with my consultancy. But while I was at the nursery that I was managing, I supported them to get so many outstandings and so many Ofsteds that I was like, why can't I do this?
Yeah.
I'm very knowledgeable in the curriculum, and I taught myself the US IB curriculum so that I can go into schools and support them with their curriculums. I ended up working with the UK Embassy in Guangzhou to integrate SEN, special educational needs, because that's the largest gap that I identified, sorry. And I did lots of training and teaching webinars, developing training, teaching the EYFS, and especially how to integrate and how to identify special educational needs. So it wasn't that you hide the child, but you actually support them. So I taught the British International School, Canadian International School, loads and loads of international schools.
That was in China? Or
Yeah, in China.
Wow.
And then I also visited like the more rural areas in China where they didn't have international teachers, and I was probably the only international person in the village. And I would incorporate they had like a self-made Cambridge curriculum that I revamped, and I incorporated a bit of the IB, a bit of the EYFS and a national curriculum, and we called it the Cambridge curriculum, and that's what I rolled out as well.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And how long you've been in China?
I was in China for a few years, but I had to come back because of the pandemic. Because I worked for the embassy, they recalled everyone back. So that's what I had to do.
Yeah. And I want to find out how the cultural differences, because obviously you're British, you're Black, you're very tall, you're very outspoken, you're very approachable, very friendly, very outgoing. It's not really something that I would it's typical Chinese person. So how did you go?
I think I confused the Chinese when they first met me, but I also think they were fascinated by my height. Like they'll stand next to me and be like, "Oh, look at the difference," because I'm 6'2". For those that don't know me or are unaware, it was a massive culture shock when I first moved there, but it's just because everything is different. And then where I'm with the children in education, they don't all speak English, or you would hardly see the parents. I, coming from the UK, thought they were grandparents, but they're actually something called an IE, and an IE is the nanny. So a lot of the time you don't see the parents, you see the nannies. So all the time I thought the nannies were the parents. Then I just saw a completely new face when we had parent meetings.
Yeah.
The nannies would even do the viewings with the grandparents, and the grandparents would choose whether their grandchild can go to nursery or not.
Wow.
So that's a lot of how it went. It was the grandparents had the say. And then the biggest culture shock for me is where in the UK, parents are like, yeah, we want to get our children into nursery because they can learn so much from the other children and it will support their development. In China, it was a lot more pushback. It was more of the, no, we can teach them more at home. They don't need to be around other children, because China, they're really, really hygienic. So we don't need to be around other children. Our grandchild will always get ill. So it was really different. They believe that children should start from kindergarten age, and early as nursery is pre-kindergarten. They didn't believe that a child should start nursery as a 3-month-old. But that's where I used to do education lessons for the parents as well, so that they could have an understanding of the benefits. I used the EYFS to develop actual educational classes for the parents, and we used to teach the parents the EYFS and learning outcomes, and do stay and play classes with the parents, and then talk about the learning that was developed and link it to the EYFS. And that used to really support the sale of sessions. So that was the biggest culture shock, because I never dealt with so much pushback with a child starting nursery under the age of 5 that I did until nurse.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. And how about children? How did they, reacted to you?
They actually, the thing about me is I'm too bubbly for them not to love me. Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
When I'm with the children, I am the biggest kid in the room, maturely. And I always bring myself to the children's level when I just get to know them, and then I provide experiences that link to their interests. And I also coach the team to do that. So because I did that, they automatically warmed to me. They loved me. I still speak to some of them now, and
really?
Hopefully I can go back to China soon, and they want to all take me for dinner, and I want to stay there for ages and just rekindle with all my children. I still speak to the parents now that I'm back in the UK. I think more than anything, they were fascinated by my experience and fascinated by what I can bring to the table. Because I did lots of the parent sessions as well, they fell in love with what I had to offer and what the staff had to offer, because I also coached the staff to hold their own sessions as well. And we all take the sessions to the children's interests. So because of that, as a multicultural person in China, I was able to win them over.
Oh, excellent. That sounds brilliant. So in terms of your own experience, what was for you the biggest challenge there?
In China, I think the biggest challenge before I found a solution was kind of filling the occupancy, being the person that was the manager of the nursery. But then once I was able to understand the parents' needs, I was able to put the sessions together. I think another challenge was actual general language barriers, not from like parents or anything, but we hired international staff. So we first had 2 staff from the UK, then we had 1 from the UK and 1 from the US. So I had to teach the US staff member the EYFS, because she was used to the IB curriculum. So that was quite challenging to kind of weigh out the differences.
Is there much difference between American early years and
completely
UK?
Yeah, it's so different. And our curriculum's a lot more about child-based learning and interest-based learning, whereas the US curriculum, the IB, is a lot more about this is our focus areas and this is what the adult needs to do with the child before we incorporate the child's interests, kind of thing. So there were the differences that I picked up on. The major challenge was teaching the Chinese staff the EYFS and supporting them with, instead of writing in Chinese, writing in English, doing observations, planning activities. So because I had to create the planning, I got to know the team, then created planning that worked for everybody. But that was quite challenging at the beginning.
Yeah. And with the kind of, did you have any pushback? Like, oh, no, we're not doing this because we don't believe the way you do stuff with children?
We did more from parents than staff. The staff wanted to learn because they wanted their UK level 3 and they wanted to grow in the industry, and they actually love the experiences that we provide for children because it's very creative. But parents, mainly the grandparents, again, because we take them from 3 months old and it's a lot of play-based learning. In China, they want the children to sit down and they want to say, we did reading, writing, and arithmetic, all of those things. But because we're planning activities based on the interest, we've got messy play and things like that. It took time. So we, again, used to invite the parents in for sessions during the week as well. So we wanted a child to learn how to hold the pencil pincer grasp instead of palmer grasp. So there's these children chopsticks that you can get that's quite bouncy, and you have to do this. So we froze colorful ice cubes, and we'll be like, bring me the red ice cubes. It's color recognition. And it's also practicing the pincer grasp, and it's springy for the children as well. So once the parents saw that, she was like, oh, actually, I think this is amazing. And you're teaching my child how to hold the pencil, which prepares them for the sit down.
Yeah.
Still wanted to sit down. So then I had to kind of change the routine and do a little bit of learning time, but then we used to call it language lessons. So we used to say to the parent, that's when they're going to be learning the English language. And we used to kind of focus on teaching them words of the day and stuff. That they can kind of, we can get the best of both curriculums, because they wanted to incorporate the Chinese curriculum with the UK one.
Oh, cool. Okay, and tell us what you do now.
So now I am a field-based people officer for Kido. Kido has 10 nurseries.
In UK?
In the UK, I'm back in the UK. Kido has 10 nurseries. I support 5 of the nurseries. My role is like a compliance manager. So I support the nurseries with the rota, the ratios. I also support them in the ratios as well. I'm currently supporting the teams with observations and assessments and with planning, and I'm literally everywhere and I do everything. Today, for example, I trained some of the new managers on their rotas, and then I went to Hackney Scrap Project, got lots of scrap things. I sent it to one of the nurseries, came back and did training in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Cool. Very busy. And now you're with us. So tell us, what is the kind of ethos of Kido School? What is so special about the school? Why you decided to work with them?
I think what's amazing about Kido, as somebody that's been room-based and somebody that's been a manager, is my role is part of head office. And never have I ever seen head office in the rooms changing nappies or with the children.
Wow.
With Kido, we don't have area manager and senior, all of this. Our roles are people-based. It's about the people. So we have the people team for the nurseries is the people trainer and the people officer. So as I'm the people officer, the people trainer will do the learning, education, the training. I would support with compliance and ratios, numbers, and support in the rooms as well, in the ratios, filling out. And then together, the people officer and the people trainer would also support the nurseries to prepare for Ofsted and stay compliant. If there's any Ofsted updates and things, we support with those. I've had that end of having like an area manager or regional manager doing that kind of support, but I've never ever seen any area manager that I've worked with be in ratio, and the people trainer with Kido goes into ratio as well. I go into ratio. I've changed nappies, we've set up areas. We're very proactive, and that's what I love about Kido and working at Kido, is that it's such a proactive business and we care. We put the welfare of the people and the welfare of the children trump the needs of the business, and we also look at the needs of the individual. And I've never experienced that working in a childcare establishment ever.
I can imagine. So I think it makes a huge difference. I think that's something we do with our teachers as well. Like all our teachers who are delivering classes, they're still working with children, because it does that bit of extra. They understand, you connect with them, you've got the same goal, and it's just welfare and making sure the children thrive. And if you are working with the children every day, rather than you just kind of at the back looking from far away, it's just take away that kind of real the understanding, the holistic understanding of the looking after the children. So that sounds amazing, actually.
I love it, because if we're supporting them with the children, why are we not with them? Why are we losing touch of that end of it?
Oh gosh,
I did key worker observations yesterday and planned activities for children, and I'm telling you now, that was the peak of my day. I love that more than I did the laptop.
Oh, cool. So your company, Kido School, is now recruiting big time, right? Because they have a lot of nurseries. So
yes. So
what are you looking for?
We have 10 nurseries at the moment, and we have 4 due to open before the year ends. We are looking for so many roles. We're looking for kitchen assistants. We're looking for level 3 practitioners, level 2 practitioners, unqualified practitioners. We're also looking for management roles. We're looking for room leaders, deputy managers, nursery managers. And one thing again I love about Kido is that they look at the needs of the manager. When I was a nursery manager, I used to have to do the invoices myself. I used to have to do occupancy myself. Now we have an amazing role called parent relationship manager that does the parent partnership and fills in the occupancy, so that that takes one thing off of the manager, so that the manager can work more on the floor, supporting the room and the quality of the rooms and the nursery as well. So we're looking for some parent relationship managers as well for some of our nurseries. Our youngest nurseries at the moment will be Crouch End, Greenwich and Tooting. I know Greenwich has been open for a year. Crouch End's a little bit more than a year as well, I believe. And then Tooting's been open since January. So they're the ones that we're heavily trying to recruit for. Greenwich Nursery needs Greenwich Nursery needs 2 room leaders. And then lots of practitioners as well to fill up the nursery, because from like after September, occupancy will grow. I know that Clerkenwell, which is based like around the Old Street area, they need, I'm trying to count the room leaders. They need 3 room leaders as well. So we do have lots and lots,
of vacancies.
Lots of vacancies.
Okay. So how we're gonna, when we create the video, we're gonna put details, but maybe you want to mention where how they can apply, where they can find you, what's your website?
So they can go on the Kido website if you type in www.kidoschool.com, or you can email me directly. That's Angelique.Amokoh, Amoakoh @kido.school, and send your CV over to me, and then I'll forward it over to the recruitment team, and we'll be able to support you with, you know, shortlisting and things like that.
Yep. So we're gonna if anyone is interested, you can contact us, and we can just email you Angelique's contact details if you didn't get that email address. So we're coming to the questions now. I see Francesca. Do you want to check, Francesca? Do you want to no? Francesca put her hands down now. Has anyone got any questions? You can either write them in a chat, or you can put your hands up and I can allow you to talk. But it's been very interesting, Angelique. It's I love the kind of different perspective on our early years, because we tend to think that there are just few kind of type of jobs in early years, but there is so many other opportunities in different countries, because the UK framework is very highly regarded abroad, isn't it?
Correct. When I first studied childcare, I thought, well, I'm just going to work in a nursery till I work in a school. Then I'm going to retire or probably be a head teacher. And the things that I've been able to achieve are just above me. Sometimes I literally sit there and I'm just like, I can't believe I did all this stuff once upon a time in my very young life. And it's all with my level 3. I haven't even used a degree in uni. I've done all of this with my childcare level 3. So the opportunities are absolutely limitless. And to go back to working at Kido, because it's just come to me, we have lots of benefits. You get perk box, so lots of discount. The other day I got a Tesco meal deal for free because of my perk box points. So you get so much discount. There's also a scheme with Kido where, for example, if you need your salary beforehand, there's a way for you to access part of it. So that kind of supports, especially with like the increasing cost of living and things like that. That is very supportive. Since the pandemic as well, you also have like, I think it's like counselling, online counselling, a certain amount of hours that you can access as well, which is really good because the pandemic just affected so many people in different ways. So being able to speak about it gives you that release. But again, that's what I love about Kido, because they care, like they consider these things. If you have children up to preschool age range, if you work for Kido, you get free childcare. You get the childcare free. And we have 2 annual inset days. The first one we taught loose parts, and then the second one, which is due next month, we're going to start planning that teaching experience as well. And we also have annual colleague awards, which the parents vote, the team vote. It's amazing. And we also have like another social where you get to meet the teams from all the other nurseries. And another good thing about Kido is you also get to see the other nurseries. Maybe, for example, if you're covering one day or something, you can go and visit one of the nurseries, see how they are. We did it the other day, and then one of the team members was able to like take some of the really good things they picked up from the nurseries, implement it into their setting as well. I think that's everything.
Yeah. It sounds like a wonderful place to work, and that makes huge difference because it makes everyone a little bit more. The environment is very important, isn't it? Because you're working with people, and you are working sometimes more than you are living outside of your work. Because and it's so important to have a right team around you, right people. And if you've got that company that takes care of people, it must make things a little bit better for everyone and make this kind of environment more friendly and caring and nurturing.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And we aim to be an approachable team of managers and people team, and support our staff in any way possible, like any way possible, down to me just going in to do nappies. I don't mind.
Yeah, cool. So Francesca asked a question about your email address, so I just put it in a chat, so you can guys go into a chat, you will see the answer there. I've got another question. If you want to work in the nursery without any qualification, what can you do?
You can still work with the children without qualifications. With Kido, we also offer the level 2, level 3, so you can do it with us if you wanted to. We have other roles as well. We have the kitchen assistant role, we have housekeeper roles, and we also have unqualified practitioner roles as well. So again,
and it's a good way to go and see if you like it, especially if you haven't perhaps worked in a setting. I think, you know, there is a lot of investment. Level 3, level 2 is a good qualification, but I will always advise to go for level 3.
I would always
just give you a bit more
as well.
And it's not easy qualification. It's quite demanding, but it's quite, you know, it's good, it's solid, it's a great foundation. You know, you've done so much with a level 3.
Like, you can work your way up to management with that. Literally, it's such a reward.
I think you can do level 3, then you can go to level 5, and then you can top it up with a degree. So it's actually a much cheaper way to get a degree. So I would, if you're thinking about, you know, working in early years, that's probably the best way to get that kind of top level qualification, is go through level 3, level 5, and then 1 year of topping up degree. So with that, we will finish our chat. Thank you so much, Angelique, for your insights, and all the best. And thank you everyone who joined our Meet the Expert webinar. And you know where we are. Please get in touch if you've got any more questions, or you're not sure about something. So take care. All have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you. Bye.